Hello and welcome back to ClapTrap, the only show.
About absolutely fucking nothing.
No, that was you weren't supposed to fill that in. That was all I had. It's just this is the only show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is it. If you thought for one moment there was any other podcast on the internet, there was anything like TV, there were any movies, there were any of your Japanese animes, it's all fake. This is the only thing that's real. You're in a coma. Please wake up. We miss you.
Christ, I've been lied to. I've been abused.
Yeah.
Deep psychological. Well, you know what? Tell them this week's topic, Trent.
This week's topic is we're talking about dollar bills. We're talking about those Benjamins, that sick green, bro.
That's right. We are talking about currency.
That's what I just said.
Right. And how much research have you done for this?
I swear to God, I meant to sit down. I meant to dedicate a whole evening to reading about economics, and I've been playing Monster Hunter.
Same. I've been playing through the first Fallout, and I've done no research for this.
Yeah, I mean, I use money every day. I'll just lean on my fucking my street knowledge,
Okay.
if you will.
Fair enough. So, I'm going to start it off. What do we do with money?
I don't know. Give it back to the system. Literally nothing.
Very, very true. I find there's plenty of good uses for it personally. The internet shopping is amazing. You could send people things. The Ship-a-Dick service is fantastic. What's your opinion on the Ship-a-Dick service?
I haven't. The Ship-a-Dick service. I can't say it rings a bell. I can't say anybody sent me a big glittery cardboard dick in the mail recently.
You sure about that? You sure you've never heard of it?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you see the dick you sent me, or was that just all through them? Like,
I spent so long. Like when you sent me the coffee thing, I cut out your mailing address because I wanted to do something with it that was super malicious, and I'm holding it now. See, like I went through in a list of ideas, like the granny, like the granny blow up doll, the alien blow up doll, the Donald Trump blow up doll.
Well, those are things I could have used, Zed. Like you could have at least sent one of those.
But they were so expensive, and then
you cheapskate, you motherfucker.
I'm going to segue this into topic, trust me. And then Ship-a-Dick said for $4, no, I think it was $1, I sent you that entire package.
Well,
$3
the thing
shipping.
is, I saw their advertisement. You know, they advertise themselves in every package they send. It was like, ship a giant dick and, to your friends. And like, since you didn't see it, I'll tell you that it was like it was like credit card sized little penis.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
The only inconvenience about it was that it was covered in glitter, and I hate glitter with a fiery, burning passion. It gets everywhere. It gets in your fingernails. It gets in your hair. It's on your face. You can't get it off your face. It's in the carpet. You can't get it out of the carpet. It's on the walls. It's everywhere. It's on my penis. I want glitter to die. I never wanted to look at anything with glitter on it.
Yeah, that's it. That's why it's so funny for $4.
Yeah. And I opened the little package with a pair of scissors, and I looked inside, and I said, "It's full of glitter," and I put it in the garbage without pulling it out.
You see, like, I could tell the moment, like, I didn't hear the audio of the video, but I could tell in the moment of the video when Bailey said who sent it.
Uh-huh.
Because on your face, you went through, like, the stages of grief. In just moments. And it was beautiful. And I am so happy I got to see that. It was worth the $4.
Well, I'm glad you got your sadistic kick in for that day. Why don't you get around to the part where you segue this into the topic?
Okay, so the point is I think as a society, we have let materialism just completely take over our daily lives.
Is that so?
That is so. So, like, you can get your kicks, you can have a good time with less money than we're actually spending. Like, it baffles me that as a society, like, what's the first thing you see people do when they get chunks of change? Fucking, they go out, buy toys, buy their big TVs, fucking, and just all that, you know? When they could take that money, they can save for the future. They could travel with it. You know, fucking just all of that.
Here's what I have to say about that.
What?
Fuck the future.
Fuck the future?
Fuck the future.
You serious?
No, I'm not serious.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I'm a very future-minded guy, but that's only because my current life sucks. If I were to achieve my ideal future, then I would start living in the now. But
yeah.
They buy their big TVs. They buy things, like, as long as you're buying things you're gonna use that are, like, actually, in some way probably, improving your quality of living or whatever.
Yes.
But, I agree about the materialism thing. We are a very materialistic society, and experiences are better than things, which is why people travel, which is why vacations are cool.
Yes.
But even when people go on vacations, they bring home souvenirs and we gotta go to the gift shop and prove we were here.
Which is silly because you can just take a photo.
Yeah. But don't take too many photos. Don't be only taking photos. Don't experience the location you're seeing only through the lens of a phone. Just like if you want a souvenir to remember, like, get something that means something. Don't get a little snow globe that wasn't even made in the city you're visiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get something that's simple. Like if I go to if I go to Mount Fuji or something.
Yes.
Like, give me a cool looking rock that came off of Mount Fuji.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
I personally believe memories are more valuable than any possession, and I know
I do too, and I say that as a man who has no memories.
Yeah.
Like, everybody in my life knows that I can't remember dog shit.
Yeah, which is kind of depressing. I'm not gonna lie.
It really is, and I try not to think about it because, like, in some ways it helps me because I don't want to talk about it, like, at length, but you know more than anybody how much of a cringy little dude I used to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and I think having a bad memory helps me in the now, in terms of that. Like, I could not live with myself if I was able to fully remember the kind of person I used to be.
Well, like, as a proud archivist, it's my duty to remind you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad, a proud archivist. I'm sure it's all for your art or whatever.
Oh, yes. Well, I believe that history should be preserved.
You're right.
For future generations, and I won't go into fine details, but...
Do you think my cringy teenage edgelord history is really the kind of history we need?
Yeah. We gotta learn from the mistakes of the past and move forward.
I have. Let me die. I've learned. Just let me die.
No.
Set me free, Zed.
I can't. You can't die yet. I got like 5 more album covers coming. I got holiday specials I need you to draw for me. Like,
I can do it all ahead of time. Give me a year to produce the art for all the musical content you want to make in the future, and I'll just draw it ahead, and you'll have a wellspring to draw on for the rest of your life, and I will attain sweet relief, and everybody can be happy.
I won't be happy. Fucking, what happens if I have like today? Halloween special, Night of the Living Zed, spelled Knight. Fucking fantastic.
That sounds great, and I can't wait to do it. But we are not talking about money.
Because we did no research on money. So, yeah, I think as a society we've become too materialistic. And, like, I think we should instead encourage ourselves, instead of spending money as soon as we get it, to put it back. Like, and to purchase things that are better for cheaper, if that makes sense. Like, clothing is a big one. You don't need to spend that much on fucking clothing.
Oh, yeah, God. Like, the $5 Walmart... Oh, they're $8 now. Inflation. The $8 Walmart t-shirts are exactly the same quality of t-shirt that you get at whatever the fuck gay store you go to and buy it for $50.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they look good too. So, like, what's it's a status symbol thing. Like, you want to spend money because you have it. You want people to know that you spent a lot of money.
Which doesn't make sense to me because, like, if I had that much money,
Yeah.
to go out and spend. Like, are you familiar with Supreme?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Supreme.
Like,
I've never actually seen it in real life because I don't live in that kind of environment.
yes.
But yeah, I've seen it on the internet and a lot of people talking about it. And I've seen videos like people have captured of the Supreme culture dab.
Right. Like, if I had enough money to buy that clothing, I would instead just go to Egypt, take a selfie with the pyramids, and be like, keep your fucking shirt, you know? I would just travel the fucking world. But me, I'm filled with wanderlust, you know, to each their own.
Yeah.
Like, this is just...
Man, I hope seeing the pyramids is cool because most landmarks is like there's gift shops and stuff around it that breaks your immersion. But I always thought the pyramids would be a cool thing to go see because they're just there. There's no like fence. You can just walk up to the fucking pyramid. You can touch it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, like fucking.
I can't crawl inside and find all the the hidden chambers or whatever, which they should totally let me do. Please, I'll suck your dick if you want me in the pyramid, please.
There's a old legend about Aleister Crowley, and when Aleister Crowley was wooing his future wife, he took her to the pyramids, and they went deep into the catacombs to practice the black arts. And
Aleister Crowley's like the magician, right?
Yeah, yes.
The one who like fucking makes the world disappear or whatever, like crazy shit like that.
Yeah, he was a revolutionary. He was an anarchist figure, a writer, all sorts of this and that's. I'll send you some of his poetry sometime. I think you might enjoy it.
Okay. Speaking of anarchy, maybe we can tie that back into the topic. I might be opening a can of worms with this one, but how do you feel about taxes, Zed?
Taxes. Okay, so I think taxes serve an actual important use to society, but I feel like...
Of course they do. Like, I wanna say, like, taxation is theft, but, you know... Which, in a way, you know, there is definitely an argument for that, and, like, I have leaned that way a lot. Like, I don't want it to be taxed. Stop. Grr.
Yeah.
But, of course, I understand that it's a lot more nuanced than that. And, of course, taxes serve a purpose, or they should be. But they should serve a purpose. Maybe they don't quite serve that purpose as well as they ought to be, but I won't talk about that today.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I am fine with, like, the government getting money as long as they actually put it back into my society and things. Which they don't, and it's a lot. It's a lot of money for nothing.
Yeah.
So here's something. Here's an idea I had, which is gonna sound stupid, and it probably is. But just as a meme, real quick. How about this? I'm gonna run for president, and here's the first thing I'm gonna do. No more taxes. The United States government starts a Patreon.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah, just I say that as a joke, and like I can't really comment on how that would work because I'm not enough of a economic genius or a government guy. But I don't know if it's been done anywhere else in the world before, but it would be interesting to see a governmental system which runs on a donation basis because. You know, theoretically, like, if that were the case, imagine how hard the government would have to work to please people in order to keep running.
Yeah, that would collapse in 20 years.
Yeah, I'm sure it would, but I'm sure it would. Like I said, I'm not an moneyologist or what's the word? Economist?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
We should not have picked this. Okay, so
I saw you asked me to pick a topic. I saw a $2 bill on the bulletin board over there. I was like, currency.
So I hope really educated people hear this and laugh. It'd be so good. So I want to talk about.
First of all, disclaimer: like, we never jump into this like claiming to know jack shit. Like,
yes, holy shit.
Yeah, like, please don't come in here acting like we ever claimed to know anything.
Yeah.
This is, at the very least, this is an exercise in us being stupid. Is the point of doing this to like maybe become a little less stupid? So.
Yeah, it's an educational experience, but it's also an excuse for us to just do something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to flex my brain because I'm in such a mental slump all the time. Like working a 40-hour a week job, just to don't want to die. Please kill me.
Oh Christ! I work 2 jobs starting next week. 2
Oh,
part-time
yeah.
jobs.
But you won't be in it for super long before you're free for a minute.
Yeah, for a nice hot minute. Okay, so back to taxes though. I want to touch on something. So
Sure.
I remember during the beginning of the Obama administration,
Mm.
right coming out of Bush, if you went to the U.S. debt clock,
I
almost
got
everything.
something coming out of my bush. What's up? Hey.
Everything was in the red. Like I think there was 2 things that was actually in the green,
Okay.
and then towards the end of
The
the
green?
Obama, yeah, the green means it's getting paid off. The red means it's taking out debt on the debt clock. So
Oh, okay.
towards the end of the Obama administration, there was a lot more green. Now
Mhm.
we are in the Trump administration now, and there's still quite a bit of green, but the actual U.S. national debt is still constantly going up. Debt per citizen's going up, debt per taxpayer, budget
Yeah.
deficit, and what I'm getting at is why the fuck are we getting a space force? We can't even get
is that too political?
No, it's money. Like, how is it that
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
we?
you're right. Like I agree. Like the Space Force is
We can't even get insurance right. What makes you think we can?
I will say maybe having a space military would be useful someday, but I think this is a little bit preemptive.
I watch it turn into another nuclear arms race.
That's got to be like what it's inspired by, right? Like I haven't even like bothered looking too much at the official announcements surrounding Space Force outside of memes.
Mm-hmm.
But like the idea is like we're trying to reach Mars or whatever, and we're trying to do space. And what if the Russians do space? Oh no. That's the idea behind Space Force, I think. But like, we went to the moon like twice, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
and like
It
we're not ready to fight a war out there.
No, we're not. And I guess in the name of science, it'd be pretty cool, but we haven't figured out what's right in front of us yet.
Yeah.
And that's, in my eyes, extremely crucial to the survival of everything. And
Trump, go catalog the ocean, and then I will approve your Space Force. I'll give it clearance. Which like I said, Space Force might be necessary one day, whatever. That day is not for another 500 years at least.
maybe, if even. $1 million question. You know what? We're on currency. Let's just skip to cryptos. Who needs a segue?
Oh God, I'm not educated enough about cryptos.
But
that ties into like you were talking about the national debt and all that, and how we just keep going further and further into debt and to these like $1 trillion numbers that have no human meaning anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really grinds my gears about currency is the fact that it's not real. Like
It's not,
like the rules are made up and the points don't matter.
Absolutely. It's weird. It just... barter makes sense. It really just feels like barter with an extra step.
Well, that's what it is. Bartering is just economics, like on its simplest level. And then they were like, let's find a shorthand, like a transitional thing that we can trade for anything, like a universal thing. And that's where like precious metals step into that role. Like everybody's trading gold and silver, and you could trade gold and silver for anything, and that was money. And now it's and then your dollar bills, those are checks. Your cash money that you think is the real money is actually a promise. It's a check for you to go withdraw gold, and somehow that system got lost somewhere, and now your dollar bills don't even mean anything because we keep making up. How I really want to read more about the economy. I've been meaning to read like a couple of books on it to like find out like how possibly like anything has value when we keep just making money up.
Yeah. Hey, crypto, I know started out as like this sort of rebellion against normal money. Like people
Mm-hmm.
were back when you can mine it for nothing. Like, and at one point it was used as a currency on the dark web to buy illegal things, and
Oh,
it was a
cool.
currency on the internet, and people would sell it off. Like, I watched a video on this kid who became a millionaire at 18 off Bitcoin.
How do you
Um,
mine for crypto if it's also made up?
it's like they send out code, and you have to have these supercomputers with fuck tons of power to like get the code as soon as it drops, and like
Oh, to unearth it, or
yeah,
so okay. So mining is a pretty cool analogy for that. All right,
yeah.
I can dig it, my dude.
But it takes up so much fucking power, and it absolutely destroys the computer market, and people
Mm-hmm.
are blowing their life savings on like these new and upcoming cryptocurrencies, and it's just like I remember Trevor Noah did a spot on it on his show, on the Daily Show, and they showed that like literally anybody can start a cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
think that
whether
became a big thing. Like I was just seeing YouTube channels like, hey, we've got we've got a crypto now.
yeah, like and it
What was
just
Dogecoin? Wasn't
yeah,
there a Dogecoin?
there was, and I think it's like the second to Bitcoin. Let me look that up.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge. Let me look up value. Da, 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 da. I don't know what this means.
Whatever. Fuck it.
Uh, I see a lot of charts. Rank 32, so it's ranked 32.
Okay.
Oh wait, cryptocurrency Dogecoin now has a market value of more than 1 billion. CNBC.com. This is it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Potcoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Dogecoin. It's just it is a rebellion against like the government's monetary system, which I can respect certainly, but
Right.
it's just something so incredible for a bunch of nerds on the internet to create. And like the original
Yeah.
4chan generation created it, didn't they? Let me look that up.
That I wouldn't be the guy to ask, but that seems very likely.
Oh, it was created by Satoshi Nakamoto from Japan.
Of course.
Or some say he or she might be a Finnish sociologist or a mathematician from Israel. Some thinks Nakamoto is a pseudonym of software developed by Gavin Andresen. I'm butchering these names. Others believe it's Tesla creator Elon Musk. Fuck,
Elon.
nobody know. Elon. My bad.
Elon Musk.
Elon.
Elon Musk's gender bend.
Yeah, okay, so apparently it was released in 2009.
I don't care, Zed. Shut up.
It's fucking... I'm gonna pick a good topic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We both had a lot to say about world building last week because we're both writers.
Yeah.
What? I don't know. I buy stuff. Like I work and make money.
Do you feel like it's worth it, though? Do you feel like your work is worth the money you make?
No, I fantasize constantly about my parents have a lot of land back home, and I fantasize constantly about stop working and go back home, go into the mountains, and play real life Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like there is a spot up there that I've been eyeballing for years. Like if I had the time to sink into this, I would bring up like a pickaxe and some shovels, and I would I would mine for stone, and I would build a little hut, and I would just hunt and farm, and that sounds great.
That does sound really fun, but sadly, I think
Yeah.
as much as we want to do things like that, like there's a part of us I believe that's instinctually designed and desires that sort of thing. We've also
Yeah.
grown accustomed and comfortable to the world we've built around us, like internet, computers, video games, fucking
Yeah,
media.
like I know that going and building a stone house on top of a mountain would be a lot of work.
Yeah, and like at the same time, you're not really gonna make like you can survive out there, but your lifespan's probably gonna drop, and fucking you're never gonna have money hardly unless you just ginseng or grow pot, and then like
Which I could do.
yeah,
Back home, I probably could. But
know. Well, ginseng's going
yeah, but
endangered.
the point is it?
Yeah, people don't know how to handle it.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. We'll talk about that in a minute though. But the point of like going, like constructing a lifestyle that way is to make money obsolete. So I wouldn't care, you know. I would I would barter. Like you know, I would think about it and I was like, what would I give up besides like technology, living a lifestyle like that I couldn't achieve, that I couldn't make for myself? And I thought maybe I could learn to grow tobacco. I like to smoke cigars, so I would have to. I don't know if I could grow tobacco, but I could barter or something. Like I like to smoke cigars. I like wine. And I'd be like, I will be the old Sage Mountain, and you can come to me with fine wines and cigars, and like I'll trade you sage life advice and and beets. Not like rat beets, like the vegetable, or maybe rat beets too if you're into that. But
no, I hear that's a good business. It's a good idea.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't make electronic music. I did once, kind of.
You made 8-bit music.
Yeah, once.
Hey, I liked it though. Fuck off.
Did you? That's
yeah. It was neat. It was a simple little melody, but it was pretty.
Thank you. Damn it! I said again. I need to stop doing that.
But Zed, we'll do this. We'll do this live in person next time, next to each other, and I'll make you do like each time. Each time you say I'll shoot you in the leg with a BB gun.
Oh my god, that sounds fun.
Alright, let's do it.
That sounds like some next level kink shit, but it sounds fun.
Why do you think I suggested it?
Fair enough.
Hey.
Damn it! Okay.
That's one more. I'm keeping a tally.
So, the problem with this topic... I don't know anything about it. I know...
yeah, the problem is that we're a couple of uneducated buffoons.
I could talk about a lot of things that I am educated on. But
well, I mean, we've committed to this, right? We've got to say something about it.
Something, yeah.
Like how we're nearing the half-hour mark, but...
Yeah, we are.
We cannot... We've got a long way to go. We got to say something of substance, for the love of God.
Christ, this is gonna get some dislikes. I can feel it.
Sure, yeah. It's mostly entertainment.
Yeah, this is.
So, if you're entertained by us struggling to stay on topic, that's, you got what you were promised.
Oh, let's conveniently go off topic.
Do you want to at least divert off topic to something that's in some way related to the topic?
Yes.
Like, what's a cousin of the concept of currency?
Evil.
I guess we could talk about that.
I don't know. Is there even a cousin to currency? It's just so universally pathetic.
Yeah. Materialism. We touched on that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what, Zed? You're about to wrap up college. Why don't you talk about your experiences with college and money?
Okay, so college, it's a double-edged sword. I think if you have the opportunity to go to college, you should do
It's a double-edged sword, so it can cut off your head and your dick at the same time.
So, if you're going to college, I recommend 2 things.
Don't just brush that off. That was a beautiful analogy, and I want recognition. Validate me.
No. So, in college, there's 2 things I recommend. The first one is, if you're a student athlete and you can go to college for free, fucking do it. The second thing I recommend
scholarships, and scholarships. Good. Those are good.
The second thing I recommend is do your FA always. And because you never know what you're going to get. And if you have to take out $3,000 in loans a year, whatever, make sure to get a degree in which you can pay that off. I'm talking law. I'm talking nursing. I'm talking IT. Just stuff that's in demand and can make money. Don't be like me. However, my degree
Be like me.
Yeah. So, like, my degree can't... Like,
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
a rec major, so I can go into the park system. And it was told to me by a friend recently who's been interning at a park that if you pay off $100 on your student debt, the park will pay off $100, and so on and so forth. So I'm not in the worst position possible. Or if I become an event planner or work on the tourism board, I'm going to actually get hot cash. Now, I'm actually doing an internship with the tourism board right now, which is exciting. I get to go to council meetings, and I know all kinds of stuff that's going to go on. I get to help plan festivals and all kinds of shit, which I'm ecstatic for. I am on cloud nine. Like, the 21st, I get to go to the Cumberland Gap Tourism Association, which means the tri-state area is coming together in Barberville. We're going to eat Subway and talk about ways we can bring people into this area.
Eat Subway and...
Well,
welcome to the government.
Yeah, it's government light. Like, it's ethical.
Yeah, parks. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's government light. Ethical government. Is that why the parks don't get enough funding?
Yeah.
It's too ethical.
Too damn ethical. Well, a lot of Republicans and conservatives thinks the park systems are unconstitutional, but fuck.
How? I mean, I like the concept of private property and all that, but of course, preservation is a good thing.
It is crucial that we preserve our national land.
Yes.
For our future generations to enjoy, and there's a reason it's called public land. It belongs to everybody. We all pay for it, and we all get to share it and enjoy it together. Now, that being said, the reason you get fined for littering and stuff like that, and that is because as a community, it is our responsibility to take care of it together. Mm-hmm. And that's why things like those fines are in place. And, the gift shops...
that goes back into the preservation fund.
Mm-hmm.
And hunting and fishing licenses also go directly into that, correct? I
believe so, yeah. I know it funds like the National Wildlife Association or the State Wildlife Association.
Which is Gucci.
Yes. So, well, like, the problem with the parks right now is they get such low funding, and that's why some parks in some states you have to pay to get into them, and that's because the government's not giving them a bunch of money. Like, my rec teacher said, I would go as far as to pay a single dollar out of my taxes and out of my paychecks every month to go to the park service. Damn. And it's just that little could make such a big difference if every American had to pay a tax that went to preserving national land and landmarks and stuff like that, because it is for us to use. It's for us to go hiking. It's for us to go sightseeing and camping and biking and all that stuff. It's ours. Like, all the river systems and stuff. It's so crucial that we take care of our waterways because it is public land, and all the wildlife there needs. I don't know.
Welcome to the environmentalism episode.
Like, I'll never forget, and it was so fucking impactful on me. I was taking a bike ride down through Harlan one night, and I'd probably made it.
Dox yourself, dog.
I am long away from that place, trust me.
Yeah.
So, I was taking I was about a mile.
Native land.
I was 2 or 3 miles down the road, and I saw a little place off road that I could jump off of to chill for a second, and I was under this big hangover. Like, the mountain hung over it, and there was this huge waterfall.
Dude, I had a big hangover this morning too.
Oh, I'm sure. And there was this waterfall that went down into this pond, completely hidden. It was gorgeous. There was flowers around the pond. The waterfall was pretty, and some cunt stuck his garbage bags around the top of the water. Yup.
Well, fuck.
It's little things like that we're just constantly ruining for everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, it's a school of thought to leave no trace. And that's, if you're up in the mountains and you see a pretty flower, don't fucking pick it. Leave it there for the next person to go through and experience that, Which I think I touched on.
It's not like more flowers aren't going to grow. I mean,
yeah.
Is that just a metaphor, or?
Or it's the school of thought that allows creatures to go extinct.
Oh.
It's, like, there was times when, I can't remember the exact species, but there was this pigeon that used to be all over the fucking states, and it's like, oh, there's always going to be more. Let's go eat the eggs and launch cannonballs and hold contests to see who can kill the most. And now they're extinct. They're gone forever, and it fucking sucks.
I mean, I didn't notice a difference.
Well, it's way before our time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that does suck. Things going extinct sucks. The world is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. If you think about it on a more cosmic scale, then whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I'm not advocating for that at all, but, like, if you... I don't know. If you're... Like, the world is going to continue to be whatever it is, and new life is going to spawn in any way it can. Like, everything's going to die eventually. Humans are going to die, probably. Like, we'll go extinct. Something else might take over the Earth if it doesn't, you know... If we die before the heat death of the universe or whatever.
Mm. Like, I don't know. I just can't... It's just so crucial to preserve all of this for the next generation, so they can.
Well, that was
it.
cool and all that hippie shit you said, Zed. But I was asking about like how, like money, in terms of your college experience, like how the like paying for that and going into debt for your degree.
It really just depends on what loans you take out. Like the federal subsidized and unsubsidized, the interest rate on it isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But you really don't want to go with private, and you really don't want to go with like the Hicks and the Perkins, because that's like outside government loans. That's not through the school directly. So it just depends. Like you got to really read the fine print on it and maintain the interest rate. But
do you think going into debt was worth your degree? Tough question.
I think where I came from, not having power from time to time and not knowing what the future holds, was worth coming to college for, because since I've been here, I have seen and experienced things that have blown my mind. I have experienced dozens of cultures from people all around the world. It has given me the opportunity to work. It's given me the opportunity for this to go to other cities and work for free as a volunteer for charity organizations. And I've just done so much, and the way and me going into it and me coming out of it, my mind has just been molded and expanded, and it's just I can't. I recommend going. I recommend getting a degree that pays off the loans, but I seriously recommend going.
Should we turn this into the college debate cast? Because I think college is a fucking scam and nobody should ever go.
I think the courage.
I mean, of course, my opinion is more nuanced than that. Yeah, like I don't think nobody should go to college, but I do think too many people go to college for all the wrong reasons.
I think college is crucial because high school teachers don't really give a fuck because they're not given a reason to give a fuck. So, like, you get to college and suddenly you're learning things like mandatory psychology, mandatory sociology, mandatory mathematics, fucking mandatory civics, which, like, it teaches you how the mind works and how society works and how the government functions, which, as a direct result, allows you to make more educated, what's the word?
Decisions?
That's it. My fucking...
Yeah, college has done wonders for you, buddy.
Oh, so is that head injury. So, make more educated decisions, especially in society. Like, knowing how the mind works and how people act and react can help you just be a better person. If that makes sense.
I've learned how to read humans by just being out in the workforce.
I guess, but like at the same time.
And I don't have any debt.
Yeah, at the same time, it's still incredibly alarming. Just the amount of micro things that you learn in college that could apply to real life.
Well, I'm learning things that apply to real life in real life.
I
I'm there. I'm playing the game. I'm 4 years ahead.
I guess, but
I said I've got no debt. I've got a little bit of debt, but that's kind of out of my hands. I've got like a couple $1,000s, but that's like medical stuff.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. But I am working to pay that off, and hopefully that won't take as long as paying off student loans.
Oh, there's a lot of different loan forgiveness programs, especially through federal jobs.
Mm.
Oh, and having a federal job, that's going to be nice. All the different federal benefits.
Yeah.
Retirement. Whew.
That's why I keep thinking about going back to work my way up through the ranks in the post office, but I hear the workload is just hell.
Mm-hmm. I think college isn't for everybody, but I think if it was more available and not a money racket, then society
that's
would
my
benefit.
main problem with it. I mean, of course, education is important,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it's not about education anymore. In public school or in college, I think you can learn a lot in college, but it's unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or like a big science boy, like something big money like that's always in demand, that's important. Like there is not quite so much use in college elsewise because in the communication age we live in, like you can learn so much for free on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not going to become like a doctor or a lawyer, something really important that you need an education for, then it's not as hard as people think to educate yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that might, it's harder to translate that, because in my case, I am striving to be work in a creative field.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm refining my writing skills and my drawing skills and all that in my own time and learning things myself. But that's hard to quantify as work skills. But I taught myself blacksmithing on the internet. Like I learned how to heat treat metal. I learned how to heat up metal. I built a forge in the backyard. I built a working coal forge in the backyard and heat up some metal, and I started making knives just as a hobby. And I learned all that online and just went outside and got some sticks and mud and did it.
Okay, but like with college, I think the real education experience really happens in the associate's degree. Things like mathematics. So like, when am I going to use mathematics? I don't know. Probably not. But at the same time, you're learning critical thinking and problem solving skills, using parts of your brain that you wouldn't have used otherwise.
But Zed, you can just play
back to
video
psychology and
games.
Sociology.
Just
You
want to
learn
play
society
video
and how the
games.
individual functions and operates to have a better understanding of, say, somebody's emotional responses and how people as a collective think and how to work around that.
I've learned all these
history.
things playing RuneScape.
Fucking, I cannot. Everyone says you learn history to learn the mistakes of the past, and that's so fucking crucial, especially on a collegiate level when you're learning the deep history and like more specialized history and world history. Like I took a history course of China and Japan, fucking wonderful course. I can't remember shit from it. I really can't.
That's cool. History is another thing I do teach myself, though, just by, I'll stay up late, like, because history is interesting to me specifically, but I'll just read articles online, and I'll read books, and my dad knows a lot of history. I'll talk to him about it constantly, and that man doesn't have a college education, so, again, something you can teach yourself if you've got the drive.
The problem with
and
online
desire.
courses is, are you familiar with what a substantiated source is? Let me pull up a proper internet
can't say I am.
definition.
I have to
Yes.
imagine it's a source which is substantiated.
Let me pull up a proper definition. Okay, so a substantiated source is a source of information that has proof of or competent evidence. It's completely verified and is completely factual. Now,
Okay.
Articles on, like,
Sure.
I trust a book written by a man with a doctorate or a woman with a doctorate over an article I read online. And,
Well, then buy a book
you know,
and read
I
it at
trust
home.
the interpretations of 5 or 6 different people with degrees and how they teach it than any
Okay,
article.
then
online.
then read the book at home and start a thread about it.
True, but are you going to spend $100 some on that book if you don't have to?
If you're talking about saving money, you will save money just buying the
I
books
guess,
instead
but
of going
I'm
to
going to make the
college.
argument that
Yeah.
most people aren't going to.
You can say that they're not going to. I'm not making a case that everybody. That's what everybody's doing. I'm just saying, think about it. I'm just saying, like, if you want to go to college, like, don't let me talk you out of it, but just recognize how much you can teach yourself that the system doesn't.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
you think
the
that you
college
can.
is split up, in my experience. It is a complete yin-yang. The professors being the good side of it, and the business office and the financial aid being a source of complete and total evil.
That might be specific to your college because a
Uh,
lot of professors suck, don't they? And are known to like ham fist
I've
their
never
personal
experienced that.
opinions.
I've
into
experienced
things.
that once, and she got fired. The proper.
That might be your specific college experience then, because I've heard that
I
about a lot of schools.
I really can't imagine that, because the proper way of doing things is to say, here are the facts, here are both sides of the argument. Study the facts, learn the argument, learn all the different branching ways the arguments branch out, make your own opinion up. But make sure it is based
Well, that's the
on
proper way to do it, but you think anybody gives a gay shit about the proper way to do things?
Here at Union we do.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's, I'm not saying that's not the case. If that is your experience, I believe you, but I'm saying maybe that's specific to your university.
Maybe. I don't know. I've not been to other colleges, and once I get my degree, I'm done forever. Wait, no. I'm eventually going to go back and retake one class that I just could not get Statistics 1. I passed Statistics 2 now. Statistics 1 kicked my ass. It's weird.
I guess I'm going to change the title of this video to Currency/College at this point.
Yeah. Like, with the statistics, and I'm sure the listeners are curious, like, mathematics has always been an extremely weak subject for me. And with statistics, you learn the equations, you do the equations, but, like, there's so many, like, micro mistakes, and what that have to do with, like, the presentation of the statistics and the graphs and the labeling and all that even though you do have it done correctly, you still wind up with a fucking D on your test. And it's just...
Rest in peace.
I don't know. I could bitch about it forever. So at some point, I am going to retake that course at a different school and then transfer the accreditation over, just so I can finish my minor. So I'm going to be one class away from the minor, which is stupid, but I'm burned out and ready to do something different. As it would seem, as it would be. I mean, bachelor's done, the core's done, internship's going to be done.
Well, you think your college experience will have been worth it if you end up being a millionaire podcaster?
I think, yeah, absolutely. It got me out of poverty, and it died down, and it let me experience all the things that I previously mentioned.
Cool.
And I feel like as a person, I've been changed for the better, which I hope. Do you think I have? I mean, you've known me for so long.
I think you. That's a hard thing to quantify, But yeah, I think you were always very intelligent from a young age, I think. But yeah, you might be smarter now and more reasonable. I think you're definitely more down to earth than you were back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, back in the day, it's just so... I was having fun. I was getting...
So a little too much at my expense constantly.
Yeah, holy shit, I had so much fun. No,
I'm glad you had fun, kid.
well, to me, like, do you want to talk about something now? I've rambled for so long.
I've been sitting over here trying to think about what I wanted to talk about when you got done rambling, and I just don't know. I don't know. I want to talk about something, I just don't know what that thing is. Help me find it.
Help you find it.
What's something I can talk about? Throw something at me.
Fucking...
Let's talk about fucking.
Fuck...
No, let's
fuck
not.
that.
Let's definitely not do that.
So, at night, what keeps you awake at night?
What keeps me awake
Yes.
at night? It's called insomnia.
That's not what I meant. You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean.
Oh, what, you mean like fear?
Yeah, fear.
Ah,
Don't feel put on the spot.
I don't fear.
You don't?
Well, no, of course I'm become afraid, but I'm never really filled with too much of a. What I would describe as fear is very in the moment and circumstantial.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I am what I would call afraid, is like a flight or fight response when there is a danger happening to me and it's very confrontational and in your face. That is when I am afraid. But as far as things that keep me up at night, like I guess I have something akin to that, but I wouldn't call it fear. I would call it dread.
Mm-hmm.
And what I dread is not accomplishing my goals.
That's good. It's healthy.
Yeah, I think so. Even though, like, I don't work as hard to realize those goals as I should be doing if that is the case. But I'm constantly battling with myself to become the kind of a person who can accomplish their goals, because I don't think that is there's a lot about me, like, naturally that would make for a person who can achieve their goals, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a lot of natural tendencies that completely just shit on that idea, like that just hold me back so much. And I'm what I've been working on for the past couple of years, and will continue to work on for many more years, I'm sure, is fine-tuning myself as a person to become able to achieve the things I want to do, because what I dread most in life is not being able to realize my ideals.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to say, artistic endeavors, making enough money to live a comfortable lifestyle, having a good team of family and friends surrounding me who are all healthy and, who I interact with on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have a nice house one day, but that's not really like the dream. Like, whatever big house to die in, I wanna leave a mark on the world.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah. Well, you want to answer your own question?
What keeps me up at night? The future. I'm about to reach this really awkward point in my life where I will be out of college, and I will have the money to find an apartment. It's just I've got a very short crunch time window to find an apartment, find a job, and at some fucking point I need to master the turnabout and parallel park to get my driver's license.
Yes. Well, I'm willing to help with all of those things.
Yeah.
This might be a weird place to say it, but of course, if you can't find a place to live before you get kicked out of your dorm or whatever, come on up.
Fair enough. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure.
Lord. I feel like there's going to be a lot of editing in this podcast, if need be.
Yeah. I'm not so worried about the future. Like I said, I just dread those not being able to realize my ideals, but I'm not worried about, like, too much about, I've got an apartment, I got to keep paying for that, but I have a steady job, and, like I said, I've got a little bit of debt, and I am, like, that weighs on my mind, and I'm constantly thinking about paying it off. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I do, I like to, I go into a little bit of debt, and then I'm able to pay it off and be back at zero debt for a long time. And I'm having a hard time making my monthly payments right now and putting money back into my savings. But I'm starting to level out and get back on that groove.
Yeah.
And once I've got zero debt, once I'm able to get back down after my medical bills are done with and start making money again, I'm not too worried about the future because, like, you know, I've got a steady job and a nice little apartment. But if, you know, I lose my job tomorrow, I'll go get a new one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I can go to rock bottom at this point and come back without too much time lost, I think.
Yes. When you pay off a hospital bill, does that increase your credit at all?
Because I'm going through this like secondary company that is just it just is like a loan. Like I had to pay for surgery and like I had to take out a loan from this company called Care Credit, which is just loans for medical reasons. So that, you know, the doctors are paid. It's just that this finance place needs their money back.
Absolutely. Fucking the U.S. health system is so fucked up.
Yeah. Does that tie into money?
Yeah, it does.
So go ahead and tell me every thought about it for another half an hour at least, so we can make this episode as long as the last one.
Why the fuck can't we just copy one of the other countries that made it work?
Well, Canada has free healthcare, but isn't it like a very messy system up there?
Nope.
No?
That's just something.
Aren't there like months long waiting lists to go to the doctor?
To my understanding, that's just something that the American media tells us.
Is that right?
I think so.
I will definitely have to look into that for myself if that is the
Yeah,
case.
I need to look it up myself, but fucking...
Because I don't want to say anything out of turn and just be
either.
like embarrassed for being an idiot.
I'm gonna Google it, but like, there's so many different different countries that have made it work, and I just don't understand why we can't just look at them and be like, hey.
You know, we were talking about taxes before, and I like I said, you know, I don't care to pay taxes as long as it's coming back to me, as long as I'm benefiting from it. And I think healthcare would be a good thing. Like, I want to be able to go to the doctor and not like I said, I'm, you know, the only reason I've got debt is for medical reasons, and that's out of my hand. Like,
yeah, that is out of your hands.
If I'm putting money into the system, like, take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, I was going to mention that earlier with my Patreon idea. The government should start a Patreon, and that would make them work hard to impress people, and healthcare should be one of the reward tiers.
Yeah. Shit. That's some dystopian writing right there. According to this AARP article, that a lot of the American myths on the Canadian healthcare is all just stupid. It's what a...
Well, I'll do more in-depth research on it after the recording stops, but...
Yeah. Which, like, once again, if I'll watch a U.S. government say, we can't afford to give poor people insurance. Let's go to space to build a military in space. Like, that, as long as that Space Force exists, I'm going to have a strong fucking argument for universal health care,
Yeah.
and nobody can change my mind on that. Unless... You'd have to have some great fucking evidence to change my mind at this point. Because at first it was like, well, maybe it's budget this, budget that, and then it's like, Space Force.
Space Force.
Nope.
I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't, Zed. Maybe the aliens are on their way.
Good.
Burn it to the ground.
You know, I've always had this sort of headcanon of some galactic universe or some galactic universal government coming down to invade us, and then we just blow them out of the fucking sky because we just don't want to take the chance of aliens. And then...
I don't want a galactic government. I want no government.
Yeah. But that, you know what I mean?
I want real life Minecraft. I thought I talked about this.
Like,
Notch had it all right. Notch for president 2020.
No, let's say Brian Fargo for president.
I am not familiar with that individual.
He created Wasteland, the first Fallout game, and Bard's Tale.
Oh.
His resume's enough.
Oh. You know what? We might get let's say Kanye for president because he's supposedly going to run in 2020, and we might get a Wasteland then. You're not on board with Kanye 2020?
No, I'm really not.
I cannot imagine why you would not vote for Kanye. Hashtag vote for Kanye. I'm dead. Everybody. Walt Disney is dead.
Oh.
Steve Jobs is dead. I'm dead.
I'm so sad right now. I'm experiencing levels of anxiety that are just off the charts thinking about a Kanye West presidency.
I'm dead.
And you know what really sickens me about it?
Kanye West.
Fucking watch him get elected and just be the greatest goddamn president in history.
You know he will.
And
Kanye 2020, my dog.
in one fucking year, he solves the world's problems. And still drops the next album.
Dead. I'm dead. You know, if Kanye proves to me that he is the genius he claims to be, I won't even be mad. I'll just be satisfied. Step up to the plate, Kanye.
I don't believe people when they say they're smart.
There's a God. I forget the name of that psychological principle like that. There's a scale.
Yeah.
Somebody's law that's people who say they're smart are dumber, and people who say think they're dumb are smarter.
I believe.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
You get the idea.
To me, all humans are born a blank slate. So we may learn quicker or slower than others, but if we put forth the work, we can learn anything. And if someone says they're smart,
well, yeah, it's just in terms of who does learn quicker or slower, and who puts that into practice. I definitely think genetics, some people are born smarter and some people are born dumber, which is why I try not to make too much of a a thing about it, because if you're smart, cool, that is good. If you're not so smart, okay, just don't claim you are. Just accept that maybe you're not as smart, and as long as you're cool, I don't care. Because it is something that is on some, you can work to be smart, and I think you should.
Yeah.
But you can, maybe based on your preconceived genetics or whatever, you just can only reach a certain level, or just based on how much time you have, you can only climb so fast or whatever. But just to an extent, it's out of our control.
I think anybody
which is just like the racism idea, you shouldn't care about anybody's skin color because they can't control that.
Yeah.
So you can't control what kind of brain you're born with either. You can tame it. You can tame the kind of brain you have if you've got the drive, but and up your smart game. But it is on some level definitely out of your hands.
I don't know. I still maintain that work ethic is such a massive part of it.
Oh, it absolutely is. I'm not making the argument that it isn't. I'm just saying that there are different starting points and people are set on different gears.
Yeah. That's why I think the current high school system is trash. The current middle school system.
Oh yeah, because it's so centralized. It's so fucking unionized. Treat every kid the same. No, that's not.
We're not the same.
Kids are different. Yeah.
It's sad, the way it works. Oh.
I think by the time you reach high school, after the 8th grade, you should be able to start in the right direction. After the 8th grade, you've learned all the sciences and maths that you ought to know, and English even, that you ought to know to be a regular person in the real world, unless you want to pursue something in one of those fields. Beyond that, after the 8th grade, I don't use math in my daily life because it's not my strong suit. It's not what I do. The math I use in my daily life is what I learned in the 6th grade.
I know.
After you get out of the 8th grade, once you enter high school, you ought to be able to choose your path. And if you turn 18, like you finish high school and you figure out, well, maybe that wasn't my path after all. Whatever, just do it some more. Just start over. Like that should be an option. Without the negative connotations of like not graduating after 4 years. Like if you need to take more time, do it.
Yeah. Look at me in college. I went through a spell there for a short period. There's one math class that I took as an elective in high school, which I think should be mandatory, and it's business math. And it teaches you how to balance a textbook, how taxes work, how to pay off loans, how to work percentages.
Which should be in high school. Teach us that in high school. By the time I'm out of high school, I'm paying taxes. Teach me how to pay taxes.
Yeah. And teaching how taxes work, how to run percentages on loans, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
That is very crucial based on the system we live in. Yeah, that's important information that everybody has to know where they go to jail. So
yeah.
Please teach it to us.
That's I wish I would have taken the class more seriously because that was the class that I discovered Magic the Gathering in. And it was taught by Mr. Barnes, and like he was a great teacher. He just didn't enforce any sort of discipline.
Barnes was very loose. He's a super loose guy, and that's what made him so agreeable and made his classes good to take.
Yeah.
But I do agree that there's a limit to everything, of course, and maybe Barnes should have cracked down a little bit. Everybody else should have cracked down a little less, and Barnes a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
But nobody listening knows who the fuck Mr. Barnes is. So
he was a high school teacher.
Well, they've gleaned that much then, but they're just not relating to it.
High school was so fucking stupid. Like, I used to have this you had her, Mrs. Evans. Like, were you there when she was fucking that cop?
Yeah.
She'd fuck the cop every morning. I had her first thing in the morning. She'd fuck the cop.
I knew it was happening, but I tried not to, notice, because I didn't fucking care. Like, whatever, shut up, Miss Evans. Let me read The Dark Tower by Stephen King. I'm gay.
Yeah, like...
That was what I did in her class. I read the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. I didn't give a fuck about nothing. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Fuck you.
I'd come in every morning. She'd come out of the back lab with the cop, button her tits back up, bitch at me for not doing my homework. I'd say something cryptic and morbid about how homework doesn't... Like, I once stood up in that class, looked at her and said, it doesn't fucking matter whether or not I learn chemistry, because I'm going to die someday. And I started pointing at random people, saying, they're going to die, he's going to die, she's going to die, and it doesn't fucking matter if we learn chemistry or not, because we're all just going to be rotting in the ground, so you just chill on me, okay?
How did she answer to that?
She was shocked.
Just sat down, take a slow seat.
She's like,
head in hands,
she's like, wow.
Class dismissed.
She's like, wow, what a horrible way of looking at things. Yeah, and
yeah, of course it was, but that's high school's ed. Like I completely believe that. I think you're definitely more idealistic nowadays, but the anarchy was strong with you in the high school years.
Yeah, it was just...
Which I think you are still anarchistic, just not quite as nihilistic.
Yeah, I'm still nihilistic to a degree, but I'm not as nihilistic. Like
I think you have to be nihilistic to a degree, but in a... This is going to sound weird, but you can be nihilistic in a positive way, which is to say, accept death.
Yes. I think that entire spiel wasn't as meaningful as I acted it out. It was really my way of saying, well, you
just wanted to shut her up.
Yes, yeah. Please leave me the fuck alone. Why is it always me every day? You just got fucking laid.
Because you were an oddity.
Out of wedlock. Why are you coming out to harass your students,
Well, I mean, we could go into that, but everybody who, gives anybody else shit is obviously because of insecurities in their own
Oh,
self.
absolutely. It is.
And like you said, she was in the middle of an affair, so she probably had a lot of weird emotions. And so instead of dealing with herself, she fucked with you and probably a lot of other kids. She never fucked with me because, she fucked with me a little bit. Like, hey, Trent, do your classwork. And I was like, I'm reading a book, Miss Evans. So why don't you, suck my toe?
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I was polite about it. I was just like, oh, sure, maybe. But I got to finish this chapter. Like, I learned a lot in high school from reading fictional books constantly while everybody was trying to convince me to do their classwork. I would sleep. I would catch up on sleep I lost the night before that I stayed up playing Oblivion, or I would read.
Yeah. I remember I got put into an AP English or an advanced English course, and I fell asleep on my desk quite a bit, and then I would be moved to
Mr. Baker. I constantly slept in Mr. Baker's class.
God, yeah, Baker.
Because I had to take him. I didn't take Algebra 2 sophomore year because I failed Algebra 1 freshman year, and they didn't realize my sophomore year.
Yeah.
They made me retake Algebra 1 junior year.
Yeah.
And then I had to retake Algebra 2 or take it for the first time senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I didn't pass that class. It was required to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not put in the work. I did not give a fuck about it. I didn't care. Algebra 2 was stupid. I was never going to use it, and I have never used it, and I wanted to demonstrate that by not learning it. I did not learn it. I would not learn it, and I have not needed it to date. But I did not pass class, even though I was required to graduate, and they graduated me anyway because if they didn't, they would not have met their quota, and they would not have gotten funding.
That's funny. So, like, my math experience was... Algebra 1 was pretty easy. It was decently easy. I had Bucky Barnes. Was that his last name, Barnes? I had Bucky.
Bucky Burkhart.
Bucky Burkhart.
Yeah, I had Burkhart too, and I'll tell you, I want to go on this tangent about how I was kind of a rebel in Burkhart's class. Like, I had this weird rebellious streak against Bucky Burkhart. But you tell your story first.
So I took Bucky and did good. I did decent in his class. Then I took some geometry course, guessed on all the tests, and was passed. Failed Algebra 2, and then said, you know what? I got put in finite math, which is like... It's like basic bitch math course, just to have a...
Yeah, I heard a lot of people talk about finite math, and I never got put into it.
And what was great is I had... do you remember the redhead teacher who was like super geeky? Who...
Are you talking about Mr. Eldridge?
Yeah, I had Eldridge.
Oh, man. God. Mr. Eldridge was the coolest. I remember... Sorry, go ahead.
And then I took the business math that semester as well as a way of just saying I got 4 math credits and working the system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was that the end
That's
of
the
that?
end of that.
Okay, well then, firstly, a story about Mr. Eldridge, who was just like this weirdo dude. I saw him at Crawdad one year, which for anybody who doesn't know is this weird Appalachian music festival for grungy kids, I guess, at a local college. But I saw Mr. Eldridge at Crawdad one year just fucking wearing it, just fully decked out in steampunk shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, he was like, what's up? I mean, but mostly he was a substitute teacher.
Yeah. He was hired there.
And, yeah, for a little bit. And then he, like, lost it for some reason. All the good ones, too.
Yeah, they always fire the good ones.
But, he subbed for me in my chemistry class one time. And, I did work that day because it was Mr. Eldridge and he was cool. And, he was able to talk me into it because he wasn't a loser.
Yeah.
But I remember he made a reference that nobody in the class got, and I was like, you know, I usually don't like referential humor in my adult life because it's lazy and I hate it. But, you know, I was a kid, and I remember he made a reference to Full Metal Alchemist. He was like, haha, kids, you know, we're going to do some chemistry today, but nobody go making any homunculi. and everybody like looked around like, what the fuck? What is this guy on about? And I was just like bouncing in my seat like, I'm gonna make a homunculi. And he came over, like I had drawn like these these cryptic looking like magical circles and transmutation circles all over my desk. And he was like, what the fuck? Like, everybody was watching me like, what the fuck is this weirdo doing? And he came over like, what are you doing, Trent? And I was like, watch this. And I fucking poured this concoction on top of the transmutation circle and set a spell. And it didn't do anything. And I was like, yeah, maybe next time.
I was the best influence on you.
I'm sure. Yeah, that was all Zed influence. Oh, but okay. My story about Mr. Burkhart.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Burkhart was okay. Whatever. It was. We lived in a corrupt town that was like cut off from the rest of the world. And so like, I don't know if this will hold up in a court of law or whatever if we ever get tried for it, but I think it was a known fact that Mr. Burkhart was like fucking the girls on the track team.
Oh, Bucky was a pedophile. Everyone knew it.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody ever did anything about it, though. Hell, fucking grown-ass women joked about it.
Yeah. But, like, just... Bucky Burkhart was such a scumbag, and he didn't care about you if you didn't have, like, a pair of underdeveloped tits. Yeah. And, so, me and Alex Walker took that class together. And, like, just decided to fuck with Bucky.
Yes.
Because he wasn't paying attention to us. And so there was this table at the side of the classroom, and sometimes he would like leave his ties there for some reason. Like the tie, like he kept his ties at school or whatever, and he would sometimes leave one lying out on the table. And like on different days or whatever, me and Alex Walker both snatched one.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday was tie day. We would go into Perk Arts class wearing one of his ties that we had stolen from him. Just like over our t-shirts, we would be wearing ties, and we would wear our ties into his class, and they were his ties, and we would be like, let's see if Bucky fucking notices that we stole his motherfucking ties. And he never did, and I kept that tie for years. It was this shitty, shiny, it was terribly tacky, like this a shiny sky blue tie. And me and Alex Walker, I think Alex had like a purple plaid one. Whatever, we would wear them in there. Every Tuesday was tie day. Before Bucky's class, we would go to our lockers and get our ties and put them on over our t-shirts and wear them in there. And he never said a word because he was helping the female students with their classwork so he could look down their shirts.
I remember that. I had forgotten about that.
Oh yeah, did you know about tie day?
I did, because I remember Walker and you walking around with those stupid ass ties, and I had to ask.
Yeah, I think we kept them on all day sometimes. And besides that, I think like Walker ended up transferring to another class, and I was in there by myself, and I was like, oh man, Tuesday tie days are not fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How am I gonna fuck with Bucky? And like I remember like maybe it was like. Oh, he didn't... Okay, here's what, like, really pissed me off and set off the calculator fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
I had to piss one day in class. I had to piss bad. I had to go. It was gonna hurt me if I didn't go to the bathroom, and there was still, like, 45 minutes left in class or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, Bucky, I gotta piss, my dude. I gotta go to the bathroom. Can I go to the bathroom? Of course I didn't say it like that. I was like, I raised my hand and I was like, can I go to the bathroom? And he was like, no. And I can't remember why, but I was like, Mr. Burkhart, I really have to go to the bathroom. Can I? Please, I gotta pee really bad. And he was just like, no, we're talking about triangles right now. You can fuck right off and listen to me talk about triangles. And from that day, I swore an unholy vow of vengeance. And so, you go into algebra class, and there was like this big sleeve where all the calculators hung on the wall or whatever in pockets. And you pick up your calculator on your way to class, and you bring it to your desk with you. Oh, excuse me. And they all ran on like 3 or 4 AAA batteries.
Yeah.
And so every day as I would walk into class, I would pick up a different calculator than the one I had gotten yesterday. And I would take the AAA batteries out of it, and I would place them discreetly into my backpack. And I did this for as many days as there are calculators, until there were no batteries in the calculators. And students began to complain, Mr. Burkhart, I can't do my classwork. My calculator has no batteries. None of the calculators have batteries, Mr. Burkhart. What the fuck do we do? Will the school get us new batteries? And he was like, no. Fuck you. I don't know what to do about this. This problem is beyond me. And I remember just being proud for the rest of my high school career. That happened freshman year.
Oh my god.
And I kept in my closet at home a shoebox full of like 50 AAA batteries and a silken sky blue tie. And I felt very proud of myself, and I just outed myself on the internet, and I'm going to prison. You know what? This is the high school shenanigans cast, Zed. What you got up to? A lot of shenanigans in high school.
Yes, I did. I once lost one.
Let's hear about the latest and greatest.
I once lost a shoe in a bet to Anthony.
Anthony Donkey?
Yeah, I lost a shoe in a bet. No. I had to walk around all day with just one shoe. Well, he proudly carried it over his shoulder. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I probably... That's one of those things I would have just been like... I would have just shook my head and like not been surprised at all. Because I remember making fun of you. Like, you walked around weird anyway because you refused to like learn how to tie your shoes or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I knew...
And you knew how, you just wouldn't do
it.
it.
It's quicker if you don't.
Yeah, I guess. But I remember you had like boots that were too fucking big for you, and you wouldn't tie them, and you would clonk around like a motherfucking horse in these shoes you refused to tie. And it was the greatest thing in my life. So if you were missing one, I would just have not been surprised.
Oh.
Donahue wasn't that much of a troublemaker, though, is the only weird thing about that.
Mm-hmm. It's so...
He was a really cool guy, though. Shout out to Donahue.
Mm-hmm.
Who I'm sure is never going to hear
No,
this, but, you know. Yeah.
It's hard for me to pinpoint stories from those days about myself because
they were everywhere.
Yeah, so let's just hear some of yours and I comment on them, because...
That's pretty much the best. The Burkhart story is, like, just the only thing that I did. Like, I don't know, like, I just had a real rebellious streak about the fucking... Burkhart was just such a fucking weirdo monster that was like... I just was like, this is where I get my rebellious, like, fix, I guess. Because I wasn't a very rebellious or anarchist kid at all, which is, like... The fact that I hung out with you was weird. Like, I don't know why I fell into your crowd.
Shit.
You kind of bullied me into it or something.
I did not bully you into anything.
Yeah, I yeah, you did. You bullied me, but you didn't bully me into anything. Yeah, I just didn't know where I belonged, and I couldn't identify myself, and I guess that's what our crowd was made of.
Yeah.
Was people who didn't like have an identity.
That's very true.
I was very much like I was a pretty reserved student besides the whole tie and batteries thing.
Well, you know what? Unholy vengeance.
I would just sleep and I would read book. My greatest rebellions besides that were just reading Stephen King instead of doing my classwork.
Yeah. What I meant about the story thing is like, tell one on me. Tell one on me that's good.
Oh, tell one on you? Christ, I blocked them all out.
Damn it.
What? Let's see. Can you think of anything that you did to me that would jog my memory?
I'm trying to keep the whole Durr thing out of the picture.
Please, for the love of Zoda.
Yeah. So.
I mean, for the love of God. A lot of it was based around that.
Yeah.
What that is, I don't want any more details set in this environment.
Okay, so I don't have any good stories on me, because everything I did was out of just pure chaos and happiness. Like everything I did, I thought I was just enriching the lives of everyone around me. But
Zed was a literal fairy.
yeah,
Not in like the negative connotation. Like, I'm not saying you were gay. I'm saying you were an actual woodland fae.
yeah.
Who was there to cause mischief and discord, and just trops around the grounds and just make everybody happy and angry.
That was it. You know, I said what I wanted to. I did what I wanted to. And it was all just laughter and chaos, and I was having the time of my life. And
Sometimes I envied that a lot, but you grew up in kind of like, I don't want to speak about your childhood situation, but it was very different from mine, which was put together and structured, which held me back a lot. So I envied your lack of inhibitions.
yeah. I don't want to get too deep and meaningful.
I mean, why not?
True. Like, I guess in a weird way.
We stopped talking about money a fucking hour ago.
Like, I don't know. It's weird because I've always sort of envied your like inhibitions at that, especially during that period.
Really?
Kinda.
Why don't you elaborate on that then?
I don't know. It's weird. Like,
Talk at length for a minute so I can step away from the microphone to go get a beer.
I'd like for you to hear this. Shit.
I'm on a call on my phone.
Okay.
Like, I'm just recording on my computer, so I'll be able to hear you. Like, I just won't be able to say anything.
Fair
So
enough.
start talking now.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, yeah, you were always just so structured and so concreted and like who you were, and I was just so fucking curious about that. Like, I wanted to know how a living creature could function under that just identity. I wanted.
I'm back now with my Leaning Kugel beer.
I wanted to learn.
That is to say, you wanted to learn. Well, structure makes the world go round, dog. Like, we've always made this joke about like collaborative efforts between us. Is like, you spout nonsense and then I put it like meaning. I give it context.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I guess we just kind of complete each other in that way. No homo.
I could.
No homo.
I could
bro.
edit this
But
and make it so fucking homo.
it's pretty homo already.
It really is.
No homo, but I'm gay. But yeah, like that's just the difference between us. I guess I've always like I guess I feel like that's a little weird because when you say I'm structured, I don't feel like that. But maybe it's because structure is what I strive for in some weird ways. And so obviously my goals far outreach what I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't view myself as structured per se. So I do value structure. Like I just in a limited way. Like how do I say? I really don't know how to quantify this right now. I'd have to think about it. But yeah, I like structure. I like routines. Even though I value freedom, like freedom is like one of my personal liberties, like one of my key fundamentals for life. And yet, like, I want to be structured, but I want it to be my own choice, I guess.
Yes.
As opposed to, like, a lot of structural people are like, oh, I love being told what to do because then I have no choice, and my human weaknesses will not stop me from being the structured monster I was born to be. And I'm like, then there's no, like, there's no context, there's no meaning to that. You being structured, you have not achieved anything, which I guess a lot of structurally minded people don't care about that. They just want to be a cog in a machine or a machine themselves.
Mm-hmm. See,
I don't know. I value order in certain ways, and I value order within my own mind, and I try to keep things in all the right places. Even though, like, I don't know, in my house isn't that messy. Like, it is messy by my own standards, but maybe, I mean, you've come up and you've seen it. You probably wouldn't think it's that messy.
Absolutely not.
But, yeah. But, like, I feel like things aren't organized properly, but I feel like there is an organization to them. And, yeah. Organization is good. Keeping things where they should be is good. Spacing things out, just structure is good. I've said nothing for 10 minutes, and so you take over. Thank you.
I'm the opposite. I wake up every day and I have no idea what I'm going to do unless there's something that I have to do that requires me to be an adult.
Yeah, I wake up every morning and I know exactly what I'm going to do, which is go to work. But
like, I'm constantly wondering what's next. If I do something for too long, I get bored and want to do something else in life.
Yeah, and I think everybody's like that to a degree, but like
I'm looking for the next adventure. Like, there's some days I'll get up, I'll put on my shoes, and I'll just walk down a road I've never been before, hoping something will happen.
Next adventure. I like adventure. I like travel. I like to see new things, and I wish I could do it more often, but I guess that's not really my goal in life. I like traveling to new places because it refreshes my mind, whereas being, stuck in one place for too long, same environment, same sights every day, will make your mind stagnate. But what I'm searching for is not the next adventure, it's the next brick in the wall I'm building.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
So, like, I have a goal, and I want to achieve it. I have several goals, and I want to achieve them, so I'm always looking for the next piece of that puzzle.
Yes.
As opposed to, your attitude of what's over the horizon, oh, I don't know. And my attitude is more like, what will further this?
Yeah.
And that is what I'm searching for.
Fair enough. Well, on to...
I hope that didn't sound condescending.
No, not at all. We're two different people, and that's okay.
I'm really trying not to sound like a Rick and Morty brand intellectual.
It's fine. We're two different people, and that's okay. But that doesn't.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out how our minds differ, or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. We're like day and night, us. That doesn't mean you don't go on it.
Well, I don't know. I think we have a lot of similarities too, though, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't really have anything else to say about that, but yeah, I agree that we are different in a lot of ways. I just wanted to say that we are similar in a lot of ways too.
Yeah. Like, we go on adventures though. I'd like to get to a point where we can go on more adventures. Like, we're going to the Ren Fair soon, and
yes,
which I broke down quite nicely to help relieve some financial stress off you.
Yeah, hopefully, like, some financial stress should be relieving soon. There should be, I think I've discussed for you, my income should be raising a little bit soon, but, that won't be.
Yeah.
It's not like that's going to be an easy thing. Like, there's, Bailey's going to start working soon, which is,
amazing.
Yeah, it's good. We're going to have more income, but I don't want her to, like, I've always, like, I don't know, whatever, traditional lifestyle, whatever, blah, 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 but, like, that's not really, like, my goal for, like, not wanting to have to make Bailey work. Because me and her are together, we met because we're both artists, we're both creators, we have things we want to make, right? And she has things she wants to make, just like me, and I understand that more than anybody, and so I try to, like, make enough money for the both of us, so that she can realize her artistic endeavors, because, like, that's something she wants to do, and I recognize that, and you want everything for the people you love,
yeah, absolutely.
Right? So like, that's just something I relate to the most. I want to give her the time that I don't have.
Yeah.
To do the things that she wants to do, because that's what I value most, and that's what I see as most important, so that's what I want for her. Mm-hmm. As the person I care about. That was a little... Sorry to get gay on you, my dudes.
That's the straightest this conversation has felt in a long time.
yeah, I think so. But yeah, we do go on adventures together, and I think an occasional adventure is very important to just keeping your mind fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the purpose of keeping your mind fresh is to achieve goals,
Yeah.
which is a structural ideal. But I guess it's just, that comes back to balance in all things.
Yeah.
Everything is yin and yang. You need structure, i.e. me, and chaos, i.e. Zen.
Yeah.
And that's why we work well together, I think, because we're very similar in a lot of ways, but different in a lot of ways that complement each other. Like, we have the piece of the puzzle that the other man does not.
Yeah, I agree. Well, here's to another 10 years, I guess.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. So, we've been going for an hour and 37, and
I could talk some more.
okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm in it for the long run. I feel bad that this isn't currency. As long as I put the other things we talk about in the title of the video, I guess nobody will feel cheated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which there's this podcast I listen to a lot, like, that really inspired me to get into podcasting.
Yes.
They're called the procrastinators. 2 words, procrastinators.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, haha. But of course, they're like not really procrastinators. A lot of them are very prolific creators.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just an internet. A lot of them are anime analysis, because that's what I watch a lot of, because I'm anime inspired a lot of what I do, what I create. Obviously, I don't think anybody who's familiar with my work is very surprised by that fact.
Absolutely.
But yeah. hey, what are you trying to say? You fuck you. But I'm digressing a little bit there. But they recently did a weekly topic system for 100+ episodes of their podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and they got so burned out on it that recently they've like done this renaissance, of their podcast system, which they call like the formless system.
Yes.
Which is not to say that they don't have topics, but just to say that they are not so adamant about staying on topic.
Mm-hmm.
And that, because like staying on topic like limited their creativity in their podcast, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really been enjoying the podcasts that they have been putting out since they got on this formless structure, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Just to play into the fact that we have talked about a couple of different things that were off our original topic, like, that's just evidence that I think that's okay and possibly even great.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
because like we had a topic and we didn't know what to say about it. We talked about it a little bit, which is the currency idea, but the topic should not be like a law. I think it's more of a springboard. Like we've had a pretty engaged, interesting conversation so far.
yeah.
And that topic just served as a way to like kickstart all the other things we've talked about, which we might not have said otherwise.
Yeah, we talked about money. We talked about college versus.
We talked about school, education. We talked about being weird teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Talked a little bit about government.
Yeah.
Probably don't want to do that again too
No.
much. We will a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm sure, just because it's people make this big separation between like, oh, don't get political, but like, I mean, that's just, some things are just human issues,
Yeah,
dude.
it really
like,
is.
Politics is just the structure of life, which is like, and societal systems, which is human. We kind of have to talk about those things sometimes because it affects us so much.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great if it didn't. I agree with you, but it does, and so the point is we're going to talk about a lot of things, and that's fine. And I'll just try to keep next time I'll start keeping a notepad nearby, so I can like keep a concise list of all the things we talk about in one episode, because it might not be a single topic. Last week we managed to stay on the topic of world building, kind of.
That's 'cause
we digressed a lot and talked about just media generally,
Yeah.
but it all came back to world building.
Yes.
But that was easy because world building is something that both of us are very familiar with, and we were able to talk about it in a mostly concise way for an hour and a half. which we are at 140 now, so we beat our previous record. Hey, applause.
Let me tell you, this next topic that I've gotten picked out, it's going to keep us going for probably 5 hours. And we could talk about...
I don't know if I'm down for that. I've already talked for a little while. I don't know about 5 hours.
It's going to keep us going. You want me to go ahead and reveal the topic?
You go ahead and reveal it, and I will tell you whether or not I have the time for it.
Okay, so you talked about bitching about Marvel and Disney, right?
Sorry, repeat that. You cut out.
You said you wanted to complain about Marvel and Disney, right?
Yeah.
Japanese versus American comic industry.
Okay. Go. You start us out.
No, that's next week's podcast.
Oh, okay. Are you suggesting we're not supposed to... Okay, I thought you meant the next topic we were going to talk about right now.
Yeah, that's next week's podcast.
Okay. Japanese versus America comic books.
Yeah, in the industry.
Okay, well, that's going to be a fucking debate.
Yes.
Is what that's going to be, because it's clear who's on either side of that spectrum between the two of us.
I like them both.
Oh. Yeah, but you definitely like one more than the other.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. I like American comics better.
And same. I like Japanese comics better.
That's why I chose the topic, and I know you want to bitch about Marvel, so.
Yeah. God, I just, I've got a problem with the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is a major problem, I think.
Yes.
But as far as the comics books go, I don't have like an ethical issue with them. I just am not interested.
Yeah. And that's why I'm so excited for next week's podcast.
Okay, I'll do some research. I'll get ready for that one. I'll make some notes.
Put a waifu next to Spider-Man in the thumbnail.
Oh, you think I fucking won't? Oh my god. Well, we'll have to break our chalkboard aesthetic for that, but I don't think it'll be worth it.
It would.
It'll be worth it. We'll do that once in a while for the extremes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say today, though, on this podcast? Because, like I said, I can keep talking if you've got more to say. Like, my talk brain is activated. I'm in talk mode. If you got anything else you want to talk about today, let's hear it. I'm ready to go.
I think I have
Bam.
I think I have nothing left to talk about to the internet, but I could stay and chat for a little longer after the recording's done.
Shit. Okay.
All right, so
that's fine then. I guess we've already revealed next week's topic. That's good. That's a good wrap up point.
All right, so I need you to say something completely. Since this was your week's topic, take us out with something incredible. Give me a line that I can play the outro music with.
Okay. Okay. No pressure. No pressure or anything. Peter Piper pecked a pecker. Thank you and good night.